Whoa! Greetings, Luxe lovers. Welcome or welcome back. We're going to depart from our typical programming to talk about one of the trendiest topics of the day, and that's the Wal-Mart Birkin or the Wirkin. As a total Hermes lover and an analytical overthinker, I just couldn't resist to join in on the conversation regarding this craze surrounding the Wal-Mart Birkin. And yes, I was just having a little fun in my intro with my Birkin 25 in blue nuit, togo leather, and palladium hardware, and yes, this is the real deal. So I'll just have this special guest over here. So I'm admittedly not all that well versed about this phenomenon, so I uncharacteristically will be kind of shooting from the cuff. But I feel like I've heard enough to think about this trend over the last few days and weigh in because I kind of have an opinion that I haven't heard anyone else voice. And namely, that is that Hermes doesn't give a flying Pegasus rodeo about what Walmart is doing. So let me explain. To level set, the baseline knowledge is that TikTok started blowing up about a $60 to $80 Birkin unbranded dupe available on Walmart.com. And so for this video, we'll just call it the Wirkin for the Wal-Mart Birkin. Now, it's important to note first that Walmart isn't proactively creating anything. Walmart seems to have taken an Amazon type model where it simply created a marketplace to bring together buyers and sellers for all types of products. So Walmart hasn't actually taken any active steps to make a Walmart private label Birkin inspired bag. This is no great value Birkin bag, people. So having said that, I feel like Walmart is a bit removed from culpability. However, as the owner of the marketplace, it does have some accountability for the sellers that it supports on its platform. And as of today's taping, it seems as though all the Birkin dupes have been removed from the website, but real Birkins remain. Interestingly enough, they seem to use a Japanese reseller called E-Lady. I know I haven't heard of them, but also Kelly-inspired bags do remain on the site, so I'll link those below. But when I think about who is buying these bags, I think about a Venn diagram of overlap, and my hunch is actually that there is zero overlap between people who would buy a Wirkin and people who would buy or have bought an actual Birkin, and let's just say from the boutique for simplicity's sake. But I will admit that it's possible that some folks might buy a Wirkin to see if they like the actual Birkin format. I personally do this all the time to road test bag models before investing in the real deal. So I'd love to know in the comments if you or anyone you know of who has bought a Birkin from the boutique has also bought a Wirkin. And please don't include content creators because they may be doing that for the views. So next, I think to myself, why do I think there is zero overlap? I personally think that the whole Hermes journey of getting a Birkin from the boutique is mostly not even about the bag itself. I think that what Hermes is selling is exclusivity, validation, acceptance, and being offered a Birkin bag is the representation of that. And yes, I know how effed up that sounds psychologically, but that's a video for another day. So buying a Wirkin is actually the instant gratification of getting that bag, but really not earning the real Birkin bag. And I also feel as a true Hermes lover, I would know in my heart that the Wirkin is not real, and I just really wouldn't want to wear it. I imagine that Wirkin buyers can get a thrill out of having a trendy, highly sought after bag dupe, and they might even genuinely like the format of a tote. That's great. So good on them. They found a great bag at a great price. But my point is that we're not really talking about the same target market really. So the next step is if there's no overlap in buyer, then there's no cannibalization. And when I say cannibalization, I'm talking about the concept where there's a reduction in sales of a company's product as a consequence of the introduction of a similar product. And that means I don't think that any Hermes actual sales are going to be threatened by the introduction of the Wirkin, because Hermes is just going to continue to crank out Birkins that get scooped up by hungry buyers unconditionally. Now, the Wirkin might actually cannibalize some sales from secondhand retailers like Fashion File or The RealReal, but that's debatable. But I don't think anyone on their Hermes journey in the boutique is realistically going to say,
you know what, SA? I got this Wirkin. I'm good now. I'm going to reject the next Birkin offered to me because I'm all set.
No, I don't think this is ever going to happen, and therefore I don't think there's any cannibalization at risk. In fact, I wonder if the Wirkin even recruits some people to go on an actual Hermes journey in case they fall in love with that bag so much. So in either of those cases, Hermes really comes out ahead. And because I think that Hermes sales will pretty much go unscathed, this is why I feel like Hermes just isn't sweating this. I don't get the sense that Hermes is overly litigious like other brands we know of, except of course when they themselves are sued. And my analogy for this from my own experience actually comes from Instagram. If I ever hashtagged Chanel or Louis Vuitton, my posts would basically instantly disappear and I'd have warnings all over the place. And some people have even lost their accounts over this. But I have never been flagged for using an Hermes hashtag or even a mention because again, deep down, I don't think Hermes really cares and they probably might have the mindset of any press is good press. And I think that they might think when you have the highest quality product, you kind of don't have to worry about everyone else. I do think Hermes believes in their product quality so hard that they are unbothered by all of this. And in fact, it's the Chanels and the Louis Vuittons that are scratching and fighting to protect their logos and brands. Some might say out of insecurity of their position and insecurity of their sales, because they might actually be concerned about cannibalization. So all this is to say that I can't imagine that Hermes is going to sue Walmart. It's possible that they asked Walmart to take down these dupes, but it could also be Walmart regulating itself. Because as I recall, Louis Vuitton did sue them years ago for selling fakes, and it cost Walmart dearly. But I also wanted to look within and think about my own behavior. I just wanted to share that I'm not above dupe culture, and I shared this bag that I purchased from Amazon a few months ago, and clearly it is a dupe for the Balenciaga Rodeo bag. And I just bought this because I actually genuinely liked the bag shape and the design on the back, but I just didn't want to support that brand. So I'm not judging people that want to buy the Wirkin truly because they love that bag. I totally get it. And I've also recently shared my love for these Hermes inspired grocery bags. And maybe the reason why I think I'm on board with these a little more than the Wirkin is because like there's no possible way you would ever mistake these bags for an actual Birkin. So these are so far out and ridiculous in my mind that there's really no mental dissonance by having them because this dupe is so comical. So thank you to those who've stayed with me to the end. I would love to know in the comments what you think about my theories, and if you know anyone who has bought the Wirkin who actually owns a Birkin, I welcome you to follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see more of how I style these items in my day-to-day and other luxury moments. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to go down the rabbit hole that is my luxury chit chat playlist, and I'll put that link here. Please like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!